If your penis no longer gets hard in the morning, if intimacy feels like a distant memory, I need you to hear this. Because after 60, the most dangerous thing a man can do is ignore the quiet signals his body is sending. You might think this is just aging, but what if I told you the real problem is sitting right on your breakfast plate? Or worse, missing from it completely. Yes, your very first meal of the day might be the reason blood isn't flowing where you need it most. And changing just one simple food could be the breakthrough you've been hoping for. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of clinical experience in urology, hormone therapy, and age-related performance decline. I've treated thousands of men across America, men who believed their intimate lives were over. But what I discovered, again and again, is this. The body never forgets how to heal. It simply needs the right tools. Here's the surprising truth. Most men over 60 are starting their mornings with the exact foods that block pelvic blood flow, inflame their arteries, and shut down energy from the inside out. And it's not their fault. Nobody tells them. But in this video, I will. Today, I'll show you how 4 natural foods, oatmeal with chia seeds, whole eggs, sweet potato with mineral salt, and watermelon, can quietly and powerfully restore your lower circulation, muscle response, and confidence. And if you stay with me to the end, I'll give you a simple action plan you can start tomorrow morning. One change, one decision. And within days, your body may begin to respond in ways you thought were long gone. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and turn on the bell, so you don't miss any more real, doctor-backed advice made specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. Your feedback helps me create better, more helpful videos for you. Alright, let's begin with the first and perhaps most overlooked breakfast change. One that has helped countless men in my clinic restore blood flow, energy, and even their confidence in just a matter of days. It's warm, simple, and likely sitting in your pantry right now, a bowl of oatmeal with chia seeds. And what it does for aging arteries is nothing short of remarkable. Let me explain. 1. Oatmeal plus chia seeds, the artery cleanser that kickstarts your flow. I'll never forget the morning Henry walked into my office. He was 71, a retired engineer, still sharp in conversation but clearly carrying a quiet frustration. He said, "Doc, I'm just fading. My energy's gone, my legs feel heavy, and I don't feel anything down there anymore." Like many men his age, Henry believed this was just the natural course of getting older. But what he didn't know, and what most men don't, is that your arteries don't shut down overnight. They slowly clog, stiffen, and narrow, often because of what you're feeding them each morning. That's why I told him to try something radically simple. Not a pill, not a powder, just one warm bowl of oatmeal topped with a tablespoon of chia seeds. Nothing fancy, but what happened next surprised even him. Within 2 weeks, Henry said his legs felt lighter, his sleep had improved, and for the first time in years, he felt something stir in the mornings again. "Doc," he laughed, "it's like my body remembered how to wake up." This wasn't magic. It was biology. Oatmeal contains a powerful fiber called beta-glucan, which cleans your arteries from the inside, reducing cholesterol and flushing out buildup that blocks blood flow. And when you combine it with chia seeds, you supercharge that effect. Chia is rich in omega-3s, magnesium, and potassium, nutrients that help relax blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and support healthy blood pressure. Most men eat breakfasts that spike their blood sugar and crash their energy. Toast, sugary cereal, just coffee. But your body after 60 needs something grounding, something that tells your arteries, it's safe to open up, the day has begun, and blood needs to flow where it matters most. Henry's story isn't unique. I've seen this quiet transformation play out again and again. Men who thought they were past their prime suddenly waking up with energy, clarity, and confidence they thought was gone for good, and it all starts with choosing the right fuel when you wake up. But oatmeal and chia seeds are just the beginning, because the next food I'm about to share might be sitting in your fridge right now. And while most men fear it, the truth is, it may be the most complete, powerful food for restoring circulation and rebuilding performance after 60. Let me show you why. If you're still here and this message is resonating with you, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments. I want to know you're still with me. Now, let's keep going and move into the second powerful breakfast that could change everything. 2. Whole eggs, the circulation activator. Men over 60 have forgotten. Years ago, I sat across from a man named Richard, 67 years old, former Navy, tough as nails on the outside, but in his voice, I could hear a trace of something else. Frustration, shame, confusion. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I just don't feel like a man anymore. Nothing's working down there." And no one warned me it would feel this empty. He wasn't looking for pity. He was looking for answers. And I asked him the same question I ask every man who sits in that chair. "What are you eating for breakfast?" He laughed and shrugged. "Just coffee. Maybe a slice of toast if I'm not in a rush." What Richard, and so many others, don't realize is that after 60, your body is desperately craving nutrients the moment you wake up, especially the kind that rebuild muscle, feed your hormones, and reignite blood flow to the pelvic floor. That's where whole eggs come in, not egg whites, not some egg substitute in a box. I mean real whole eggs with the yolk. That golden center holds vitamin D, choline, B12, and one of the most powerful muscle-repairing amino acids your body can get, leucine. And these nutrients aren't just good for your heart or your muscles in general. They're essential for the deep, often ignored muscles that sit right at the base of your pelvis, the ones that support erections, maintain bladder control, and help you move with strength and balance. When these muscles weaken, everything from confidence to connection begins to fade, but when you feed them, something remarkable happens. I told Richard to eat 2 whole eggs every morning. He didn't change anything else. No medications, no extreme routines, just eggs. 4 weeks later, he walked into my office with a smile I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I didn't think it was possible, but I woke up with an erection, first time in over 2 years." It wasn't a miracle. It was a moment of giving his body exactly what it needed, when it needed it. And for older men, timing matters. The first hour of your day is when your body is most ready to absorb, rebuild, and respond. Eggs are more than food. They're a signal, a message to your system that strength still lives inside you. And when combined with the right breakfast choices, they can lay the foundation for a renewed sense of energy and masculine vitality. But there's one more breakfast addition that most men never consider, yet it holds the key to restoring not just blood flow, but total body balance from the ground up. It's warm, comforting, and packed with minerals your arteries are begging for. Let's talk about that next. 3. Steamed sweet potato plus mineral salt, the morning stabilizer. A few winters ago, I met a man named Thomas, 70 years old, widowed, quiet, and gentle in how he carried himself, but every movement seemed heavy. He told me his mornings had become the hardest part of his day. "Doc," he said, "I wake up and my legs feel like stone. I have to lean on the nightstand just to get out of bed. And down there, it's like nothing's alive anymore." He wasn't looking for sympathy. He just wanted to feel strong again, grounded in his body, not like he was fading from it. I asked about his mornings. "I don't usually eat until lunch," he said, "sometimes just a banana or a slice of toast." That's when I suggested something he never expected. "Before anything else," I told him, "steam half a sweet potato. Sprinkle it with a pinch of mineral salt, then eat it slowly, like your body's first medicine of the day." He raised an eyebrow. "Sweet potato? In the morning?" But he was willing to try. The science behind this simple meal is powerful. After a night of fasting, your muscles and blood vessels wake up depleted, especially the ones that support your pelvis, your lower back, your thighs, even your genitals. They're hungry for glycogen, craving minerals, and looking for balance. Sweet potatoes offer complex carbohydrates that deliver clean, steady energy without spiking blood sugar. No crash, no fog, just smooth fuel. But it's the mineral salt that brings this to life. Not table salt, but unrefined Celtic or Himalayan salt, loaded with magnesium, potassium, and over 80 trace minerals your nervous system depends on. These minerals help regulate blood pressure, support nerve sensitivity, and enhance the contractions that push blood through your legs and pelvis. They also reduce inflammation, quietly restoring function in places where tension and weakness have taken hold. 3 days after starting this routine, Thomas called me. He sounded surprised. "Doc," he said, "I don't know what's happening, but I stood up this morning without holding on to anything, and I actually felt something in my groin again. It's like my body's waking up." That's the magic of giving your body what it's been missing, not through medication, but through intention. When you feed your system first thing in the morning with a root that nourishes and a salt that restores, your circulation begins to respond. Not in theory, not months from now, sometimes in just a few days. And if that sounds surprising, wait until you hear what a slice of watermelon can do, not just in your mouth, but deep inside your arteries. It's more than a sweet treat. It's a natural alternative to pills, and it works faster than most men ever imagine. Let me tell you why. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. Now let's move on to point number 4. It's a surprising one that most men overlook, but it could make all the difference. 4. Watermelon, the bedroom fruit that rivals pills. Bill was 68 when he first came to see me. He was one of those men who kept things light, always a joke, always a smile, but beneath that humor, there was something unspoken. He finally opened up and said, "Doc, things down there aren't working like they used to, and I'm not trying to chase my 20s. I just want to feel like a man again." He wasn't asking for a miracle. He just wanted to reconnect with his body, his identity. And I told him something that made him laugh out loud. "Start eating watermelon in the morning." He chuckled, raised an eyebrow. "Watermelon? For that?" Most men are surprised when I say it, because for years we've looked to medications for answers, little blue pills that come with side effects and a silent sense of shame. But watermelon? It's a gift from nature that works with your body, not against it. Here's the science. Watermelon contains a compound called citrulline. Once inside your body, citrulline converts into arginine, and that fuels nitric oxide, the same molecule that ED medications rely on to dilate blood vessels and allow for healthy blood flow. But instead of forcing the body, watermelon gently invites it to open up. Even more interesting is that the highest concentration of citrulline isn't in the red flesh, it's in the white rind most people throw away. I told Bill to eat a few slices first thing in the morning, before his regular breakfast, and if he was willing, to blend the rind into a smoothie or chew it slowly. "It won't taste great," I warned him, "but your arteries will thank you." 2 weeks later, he called with a tone I hadn't heard before. "Doc," he said, "I don't know if it's the watermelon or the fact that I'm finally doing something right, but I woke up this morning with a little more life in me, and I didn't think I'd feel that again." What I've seen time and time again is this. Your body is never too far gone. Sometimes it just needs permission to heal, and watermelon, this vibrant, hydrating, nitric oxide-rich fruit, is one of the gentlest yet most powerful ways to do that. It's not just a summer snack, it's a circulation ally, and when eaten on an empty stomach, it gets absorbed quickly, delivering results many men start to feel within days. But even with all this knowledge about oatmeal, eggs, sweet potatoes, and watermelon, it means nothing if you don't act. That's why what I'm going to share with you next is the most important part of this entire message. It's not just about food, it's about what you do each morning, starting tomorrow, that determines whether you restore your strength or slowly keep losing it. Let me show you exactly how to make it happen. 5. Morning Action Plan. One small change that rebuilds your confidence. Every man reaches a moment where he has to decide if he's going to keep waiting or finally take a step forward. For most of the men I've worked with, that moment doesn't happen in a hospital room or during a major life event. It happens in the quiet of the morning, the mirror, the silence, the aching realization that things don't feel right anymore. And the question that follows, is it too late? I've seen that look. I've heard those words. But here's what I know for sure. Real change doesn't require perfection. It requires a beginning. a small act of intention. And for men over 60, that beginning often starts with breakfast. You don't need to overhaul your whole diet overnight. What you need is a shift in the first 30 minutes of your day, because that's when your body is most open. Your blood vessels are most responsive, your nerves are waking up, and your hormones are deciding how the rest of the day will feel. That's the window where you take back control. So here's what I tell my patients. Tomorrow morning, just choose one of the 4 foods we've talked about. 1 warm bowl of oatmeal with chia seeds, or 2 whole eggs, cooked the way you like. Maybe half a steamed sweet potato with a pinch of mineral salt, or even just a few slices of fresh watermelon on an empty stomach. Just 1. Don't wait until you feel like it. Don't wait for the motivation to show up. Let the act itself create the momentum. Because something amazing happens when you feed your body real nourishment first thing in the morning. The fog starts to lift. Your legs feel stronger. Your balance improves. You sleep deeper. And slowly, sometimes without even noticing it, you feel more like yourself again. Not who you were at 25, but something steadier, wiser, and more rooted. I've had men come back to me weeks later with tears in their eyes. Not because everything magically turned around, but because they realized they weren't helpless. That they could influence their health, their strength, their sense of manhood, one morning at a time. And now it's your turn. The tools are here. The decision is yours. But before we close, I want to leave you with one final message, something I've learned after 3 decades of helping men reclaim their health. Because the truth is, aging doesn't steal your strength. It simply asks you to fight for it in a different way. And the way you choose to show up tomorrow morning might be the beginning of a comeback you never thought possible. Let's talk about that. 6. Final message. This is where your comeback begins. I've spent over 3 decades sitting across from men just like you, men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who walked into my office with quiet frustration, wondering if their best days were behind them. And what I've learned, again and again, is that aging isn't the end of strength. It's just the beginning of a new kind of power. One that doesn't come from pushing harder or pretending everything's fine, but from choosing to show up each day with purpose, even in the smallest ways. What we've talked about here isn't complicated. It doesn't require a prescription, a gym membership, or a perfect health score. It starts with breakfast, with real food, with giving your body what it's been quietly asking for every single morning. You've now seen how a bowl of oatmeal with chia seeds can gently clean your arteries and boost blood flow, how 2 whole eggs can rebuild the deep muscles that support your manhood, how half a sweet potato with mineral salt can restore balance and energy from the ground up, and how a few slices of watermelon, yes, watermelon, can naturally fuel the same pathways that medication targets, but without the side effects. But none of that matters if you don't act. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming something deeper, your energy, your confidence, your ability to feel present in your own body again. The truth is, your body still remembers how to respond. It still wants to serve you. It just needs the right fuel and a clear signal that you haven't given up. So tomorrow morning, make a choice. 1 food, 1 step, 1 moment where you say, I'm not done yet. Because you're not. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You're just 1 decision away from feeling alive again. And that decision begins at breakfast. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video so more men can find it. Share it with a friend or loved one who might need this message today. And I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me which breakfast you're going to try first. Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step too. And if you'd like to support this channel and help me keep creating honest, doctor-backed health content for men over 60, consider making a small donation through the link below. Every bit helps, and I'm truly grateful you're here.